Wall Street analysts are waking up and in masses, they're increasing Tesla stock as it soars. Is this something new? No, not really. This is something that Wall Street always does. When the stock goes up, they like to chase the stock up and vice versa when it goes down. But everybody pretty much is waking up to the fact, and even Morgan Stanley, Adam Jones saying that he's calling it. I mean, this is something that we've both been calling on for years, but now he is being very certain about this. So anyway, let's just get down to it. Smash that like button, hit subscribe if you haven't already, because this is a sheesh moment. So Tesla stock is soaring. At the recording of this video, the stock is up over 2%. 5 days ago, up over 4%. Same thing about a month ago. 6 months, however, nearly 62%. Year to date, 22%. Remember, most of the year, this whole year, we've been down. And if you guys have been buying the dip, because I've been buying the dip, give yourself a pat in the back, man, and smash that like button, because, man, I'm telling you, anything below 300, now anything below 400 is an absolute steal. I've been saying this for years now, and now everyone wishes to buy the stock below 400. Not forget 300, forget 200, below flipping 400. Sheesh moment. Go back 1 year, stock is up 76%. And if you guys look at the top, at the peak there, it says 479 here. But of course, it was around 488. But nonetheless, we are not too far away from hitting all-time highs, like about 5% off. We are so close. Will we do it? Will the stock do it? I think November 6th could be the date. But I'm not liking how it's rallying so much, because it looks like they're pricing in a win for the vote. It's going to happen. Elon's going to get his 2025 pay package, bring it up to 8.5 trillion and then get $1 trillion, right? It looks like that's being priced in, and the higher it goes, the more likely it is it's going to be sell the news event. Let's see. I mean, this is insane. I did not anticipate for the stock to go this high at this time, which is absolutely insane. But hey, I'm loving it. Shorts and bears are burning. I'm flipping loving it. And at the same time, we have analysts increasing their stock prices here as well. Here's a whole list that I made on X. If you guys aren't following me on X, then I don't know what the heck you guys are doing. Analysts are increasing Tesla stock price targets. Wedbush, which is Dan Ives, 600 from 550. Being head of the lead of everybody else here. Love the confidence. Breed, 548 from 500, increasing it by about 10%. TD Callin, 509 from 470. RBC Capital, 500 from 450. Same thing with Piper Sandler's. Mizuho, 485 from 450. Cantor Fitzgerald, 550 from 355. That's a big flipping jump. Truist Securities, 406 from 280. Roth Capital, 505 from 305, a 200 increase. That's insane. That is pretty much around the $600 to $700 billion increase in market cap. $200. That's insane. Benchmark 475 from 450. Freedom Capital Markets 406 from 338. And Curious Pejjy 575 from 575. And I'm pretty darn confident that we're going to hit 575 sometime by end of this year. I'm pretty confident about that. There's a lot of good stuff happening. I think Q4 is going to be an amazing Q4. I made a podcast with Joe. Stay tuned for that. I think it's going to be a great Q4, and there's just so many good things happening in 2026. And knowing Wall Street, they look 6 to 12 months ahead, and they seem to like what's happening 6 to 12 months ahead. We'll get into Adam Jones in just a bit. I do want to give out a shout out to to the analysts that are cutting and clowning around with Tesla stock, starting with Accord. They decreased it from 490 to 482. Slight decrease. I don't even know why you would decrease that little, and just, I don't know why. That's just ridiculous. UBS, 247 from 300. Wells Fargo, 120 from 180. Like that's crazy. But that's what happens when you still believe it's still a car company and you're not putting in the next things. But watch Wells Fargo. Once you see the revenues coming in from the robotaxi and everything else, they're going to jack it up big time, because now they can put it on things that are actually generating revenue and profits. But that's where the opportunity is, you idiots. Anyways, last one, Gordon Johnson, 1905 from $19.05. That is flipping hilarious. This guy, he's a low-key bull. Gordon Johnson, he's a low-key bull. There's no doubt about that, at least in my opinion. From the things that he sees, from the things that he's been saying too, I think he's a bull, low-key bull. But Morgan Stanley, they're calling it on Tesla's big gamble post-earning. Okay, just stop for a second. I have a problem with this title. Big gamble. How could this be a big gamble when Tesla's been working on this for 10 plus years on this technology, self-driving technology for the past 10 years? How is this a big gamble? It's not a... Let's continue. It's just so stupid. Big gamble. My God. With Tesla and CEO Elon Musk continuing to bet on artificial intelligence and fully autonomous driving coming out of the EV giant's Q3 earnings, Morgan Stanley on Monday said they were calling it and that Tesla has solved autonomy. Who's been saying that for the past few years? Who's been going all in based on these things? I think it starts with a P, right? I don't know. Comment down below, man. I'm pretty sure all of us has been saying it. Not gonna lie, a lot of us saw this coming from like a mile away from all the things that they're doing since 2020. We've seen this. Now, of course, it was I guess not a big gamble. It was a big bet, but knowing what Tesla was doing with the data, collecting, how they were like pretty much selling every single vehicle to do the research for them by collecting data for free and sending it back to them to make this thing real, kind of wasn't a gamble. Was a bet, but it wasn't a gamble. And now we have analysts saying they're calling it. What do you call them, my man? It's already happening. What do you call it? But it's good to see them waking up. It's good to see them waking up. That's why the stock is no longer cheap, like I've been saying. When these Wall Street guys wake up, the stock ain't gonna be cheap anymore. I still think for a long-term perspective, it's cheap. We'll look back in 4 or 5 years' time and say, man, I wish I bought stock in the high 400s because the stock's gonna be over 2,000 pre-split, of course, right? Not financial advice. That's just my take on it. The stock market's response to Tesla's third quarter earnings and conference call last week was mostly muted. However, Morgan Stanley analyst Adam Jones, a longtime Tesla bull, wrote Monday that, based on Musk's comments on robotaxi ride-hailing program, Tesla has succeeded in its full self-driving FSD efforts. He says, "I'm calling it. Autonomous cars are solved." Jonas wrote Monday, adding that when he says solved, he doesn't mean perfect, but enough to pull the safety driver at scale in major metros. And Elon did say that this is only a 3-month gig when they enter new metros to have the safety driver there for 3 months. For Austin, it's going to be more than 3 months if it's the end of the year because they launched in June. I believe it was in June, July, around there. I mean, that's going to take 6 months, but now they have enough data and the FSD is more updated. Version 14.1.4 now, right? Soon 14.2, which is, according to Elon, sentient, which is insane. I guess they would only need 3 months after that. So that's a big sheesh moment. But that's what Jonas is saying here, that it's safe enough for them to pull safety drivers from it. Not perfect, but that's coming there. Jonas also said that this is a moment that changes transportation forever. Again, who saw this coming? We saw this coming. Now he's seeing this. I guess he's believing it now. The Morgan Stanley analyst is basing this on Musk's claim that the robotaxi ride-hailing service will expand to 8 to 10 metro areas by the end of the year and that safety drivers in Austin, Texas will be removed in 2 months. Musk on the Q2 call said Tesla robotaxis would cover half of the US population before the end of the year. He has predicted Tesla would achieve self-driving this year or next year for nearly a decade. Of course, throwing a little shade on Elon Musk there, but we're here. We're finally flipping here. The man does not overpromise, but he makes the timeline much sooner than it really is. He's late on it, but he always gets it achieved. That is a track record of Elon Musk. Just because it didn't happen this year, it don't mean it ain't gonna happen the year after, a year before that, or after that. Don't bet against the man. That's all I gotta say. And that is advice. That is advice. Don't bet against Elon Musk. From our discussions with Tesla, it appears that the only thing preventing Tesla from pulling the driver is its own abundance of caution. Our understanding is that there is no other explicit regulatory approval required to pull drivers in Texas. It is our long-standing opinion that if you solve autonomy for cars, you solve autonomy for many other form factors of AI-enabled robotics, aviation, marine, weapons, and etc., Jonas added. So, if a car can drive itself, because a car driving itself is very complex, guys. I mean, I would argue that the Optimus is less complex in terms of deployment than it is with robotaxis, because with the robotaxis, things change. Humans would make mistakes. That thing needs to think. Roads change. Animals come in front. You know, it's a very dynamic world out there, and we all drive. We all know how it is. So the thing is gotten very good, but it still needs to get a little bit more better for it to be more maneuverable. It is already very maneuverable. But again, it's a very complex world out there, and No other company can do what Tesla's doing when it comes to full self-driving. That's why I'm all in this thing. But once you get this thing solved, aviation is much easier and less headache and complex than driving in roads with people and all that kind of stuff. Marine and weapons, that's kind of scary stuff, but those things become a bit easier. A lot easier, actually, which is insane. Jonas is completely right here. While Jonas sounded a bullish tone on Tesla solving autonomy driving, he pointed out Tesla's comment from the conference call that only 12% of all Tesla owners are paying FSD customers. Morgan Stanley estimates that FSD penetration in North America is closer to 20%. No, it's not. Maybe in the short term, but in the long term, it's going to be 80 to 100%. Once you realize that this thing can drive yourself and it's better than you and you don't have to drive and you don't have to look at the tarmac in front of you every time you go to work, go to take the same road, take the same traffic, and you can sit in the back, sleep, watch Netflix, Prime, whatever it is, be on your phone, be on X, watch YouTube videos, watch this video even maybe. I don't think people really want to drive when that happens, especially when you got cyber cabs out there. So that is insane. They're waking up. They are waking up. You and I, we've been woken up. That's why we've been buying the stock in the 200s, 300s, all that kind of stuff. The question is now here, guys, is how many, do you guys have enough shares to retire by 2030? That is the question. We'll never have enough shares, but do you have enough to retire? Check this video right here. Of course, not financial advice, but it's an interesting video to check out and how many shares you would need today to retire comfortably by 2030. Subscribe, guys. Become a channel member. A lot of spicy things are coming. And I shall see you guys in the next video. Let's go.